and welcome to another episode of Toya Talks Wrestling. I am going to try to make this video without dying. No promises. Still sick. Ugh. Anyways, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Smackdown and some Smackdown news. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and start with the Smackdown news first because it's short. It's not sweet, but it's short. Anyways, we have now heard that Smackdown in January of 2026, I'm not exactly sure the date, I forgot to put it on there, but in January 2026, Smackdown will be going back to 3 hours. Oh joy. Now we can have this show for 1 more hour. Great, wonderful, fantastic. I am so happy! Yay! And I think the reason why they're doing this is because football season will end in January or February, some shit like that. I think in January. So that's probably why they're doing it back to 3 hours. Now I don't know. I think this is only temporary again, so it might change it during like when football comes back, I guess, or whatever. But I know some people are like really happy about that because they're used to like being 3 hours and stuff like that, because SmackDown was 3 hours, but it's like it wasn't, but it was. Like if you're like new, if you started watching like wrestling in the last like decade or the last like 15 years and you say like, oh, SmackDown's always been 3 hours, it has not. Also, SmackDown has been a lot better. I won't mind the 3 hours if SmackDown had like a decent show, but it's just so fucking lackluster. It's so boring. I'm like, who cares? Who wants to watch the show for the fucking hour? And it's not like Raw on Netflix. Raw is 3 hours, right? It's scheduled for 3 hours, but it doesn't go 3 hours. Like usually it ends up like 2 hours and 30 minutes. I think the most is like 2 hours and 40 I've seen before, but it's never reached the 3 hour mark, and it doesn't get in trouble for it. Whereas SmackDown, it has to go for 3 hours. So if it starts at, for right now, it starts at 8 to 10, it'll be 8 to 11. 11 p.m., 11 o'clock is over, right? But they have to go through like the whole 3 hours. So I'm just like, oh my god. Like, you know what? Let's just hope for good shows. You know what I mean? Let's just hope that we don't get repeats of what happened this year. We get better product. So then maybe the 3 hours will just fly by and we won't even notice. Just hope. Fingers crossed. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into SmackDown and also the rounds for the Last Time Is Now tournament. So let's go ahead and start with what's going on with the women's war games. So they have started the show. The beginning of the show, they did a recap of what happened on Raw. That thing that happened on Raw with the women's championship belt and everything else. They did that, and then you had Rhea and Io Sky. They started the show and basically was saying, talking about Asuka and Kairi Sane, how they're collecting enemies and numbers and everything else and all that other stuff, and how like Lash Legend and Nia Jax go and they come in and they try to do that rave, stuff like that, saying that they're ready for war games, and they introduce their other two partners in the war games, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, and they come out, they cut their entrance, they come out and everything else. Alexa Bliss is talking like, hey, we had problems with Asuka and Kairi, and then Lash Legend, and now you want to put in their 2 cents in there. We'll take care of them. They started this, we'll finish it, right? When you said war games, I was all in. And goes over there and says, isn't that right, Charlotte? And Charlotte's just looking like, nah, I can't do it, because I can't lie, I can't do it. And it's like, look, Rhea, I don't trust you, I don't like you, I think you're a snake. and I'm pretty sure you think the same of me, and it's fine. I can understand that, but it's like I can't help you guys because I just don't trust her. He's like, Alexa, you're my friend, I love you and everything else, but I can understand why you want to do this and everything else. I'm not gonna stop you, I'm not gonna hold it against you or anything like that, but I'm out. So she starts walking away, right? And she walks away, she walks out the ring and everything else, and they're like, what are the, they're like confused and everything else, and Rhea's like, what's going on, and all this other stuff, right? So so they just ended like that. It ended like this, like what's this weird clueless shit going on. Later on backstage, Alexa Bliss is telling like Rhea and Io, like, look, I don't know what's going on with her. She ain't answering my phone, she ain't answering my text. I don't know what's going on with her. I'm gonna try to talk to her and everything else like that. And Rhea's like, well, even if you don't talk to her or whatever like that, we're gonna need 2 more people. So for sure we know that it's going to be a 5-on-5 at War Games with these women. So we know that for sure because Rhea mentioned it, said, well, we still need to get 2 people, right? Because if Charlotte doesn't fucking come, she didn't say fucking, but if Charlotte doesn't come through, we're gonna need 2 more people, right? Right? And I was just thinking, well, shoot, you can just fucking get Lyra and freaking Bailey if you actually need to. Boom, there you go, right? But more than likely, Charlotte Flair is gonna come in and she's going to be part of the War Games, right? And I'm just like thinking to myself, where did I see this before? Like, where? I know I've seen this angle before, and I'm just like, oh yeah, when Charlotte was trying to get Becky Lynch to be on Horror War Games, because Becky Lynch and Charlotte had that little feud thing, and they're like, oh, we're not really friends, and all this other stuff, because I'm not gonna help you, blah blah blah. So that, understandable. Okay, got it. That's where I saw that from. I knew I saw this angle somewhere. Like, this is highly familiar. So we're gonna fucking get Charlotte Flair. I don't know how we're gonna get Charlotte Flair, but that's why we're gonna get Charlotte Flair. Also, may I add that the Kabuki Warriors, Nia and Lash, pretty much attacked Alexa Bliss, Rhea, and Io backstage when they were all talking. So they got attacked and everything else. So right now it's basically a 4-on-3. They need to get 2 more people. I don't know who the heel sides get, but I'm thinking that we're probably gonna get Becky and AJ Lee. Becky Lynch has a match this Monday coming up with Maxine Dupree for her title. I can see one of 2 things happening in here, because Maxine Dupree has beaten Becky Lynch, not pinned her, but via counter and disqualification. So she's won the match, but not the title. I don't even think it was for the title 2 times before, but this time it's for the title. Now I can see, Becky Lynch winning and beating the crap out of Maxine Dupree after the match, to where we finally get AJ Lee back in the picture, right? And then from there you still have like 2 weeks to go, because we have the rest of Survivor Series is in 2 weeks. So if you put her, and then you could bring back AJ Lee, you could put AJ Lee into the War Games, and Becky Lynch can go on the other side of the War Games, because there was a moment between Becky and the Kabuki Warriors. Not like I'm gonna get you kind of moment, but like, we're gonna be partnering up. I'm gonna see you soon. We're gonna be partnering up pretty soon. I respect you kind of order, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So I can see AJ Lee and Becky Lynch being the 2 next people into the match. Here's the thing that I don't understand. Like, if it is Becky and AJ Lee, right? How is Charlotte and Becky gonna be fighting each other when they just made up like a couple of years ago in the War Games? There's that, right? Also, if Charlotte Flair says she is not going to be in it and she's out, and they do put in Lyra and Bayley, I can see that being a thing as well. Not only because Lyra and Bailey have a problem with the Kabuki Warriors and Becky Lynch. Even if you put Becky Lynch in there, right, you can still add Becky Lynch on the other side, and she had a problem with Becky Lynch, so that would make some sense as well. But also, Bailey is from California. Granted, she's from the other side of California. She's on the Bay. We're going into San Diego, but still, California bound. I could see that being a thing as well. But more likely, Charlotte Flair is going to be part of that War Games. More likely, I think that AJ Lee and Becky Lynch will be on either side of that War Games. At least I think that's what's going to happen. I don't know. Anyways, let's move on. We got the tournament for John Cena's last opponent. So far in the tournament, we have Rusev and Sheamus. So we're gonna find out now who is going to be added to the second round. We had The Miz versus Jey Uso. This match was it was a good match. It was to the point, and everything else. It wasn't lackluster. It wasn't lagging or anything else like that. Jey Uso ends up qualifying, so he will be on the next round to see who he fight against. I don't know because there's no brackets, so I don't know who he's fighting next. And then we had LA Knight versus a mystery opponent because we didn't know who it was, and it turns out it was Woo. You know it. That's right, Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder made his return after 5.5 years of being off of WWE. Well, the main roster. Well, as Zack Ryder. He was on NXT as Matt Cardona, which I don't understand why it couldn't be Matt Cardona when he was on Smackdown, but whatever. It was Zack Ryder. I'm just like, okay. It was, it was great to see him and everything else. Had a modified theme song of his old theme song and everything else like that. Had a pretty decent match with LA Knight. LA Knight ends up winning, so congratulations, LA Knight. This is about as far as you're gonna probably get in this round, right? So then, so he'd be going on. So then we have those four. So next week, like I said, we have Javon Evans, Solo Sikoa versus a mystery person. More likely is Joe Henry. I heard that Joe Henry finally signed a contract with WWE. I don't know if that's 100% true or not. I want to get a little bit more information about that before I actually say something. So take what I said with a grain of salt. So let's say allegedly, I don't know, but I can see him being the mystery person. Although I want it to be Obi Femi, but I don't know if it's going to. I don't even think Obi Femi is going to be in this tournament. We also found out who is going to fight next week on SmackDown for the last round, for the first round of this tournament, and it's going to be, oh my gosh, who was it? I totally forgot. My mind. Oh, okay. It was Carmelo Hayes versus Bronson Reed, which he'll be coming up later on in the show, and it's Penta versus Finn Balor. So I'm just like, well, unless the mystery person is Obi Femi, there's not really much like new talent to get put up and everything else like that. So I can see Gunther winning. But if this is who we have and it's not gonna be Obi, I wanna put my money on Penta. Right? I like for him to be the last person. Yeah, granted, he ain't an older talent, but he's a newer talent in the product in WWE, and he can get that title, and then he can have a feud with Rusev, and then Rusev can get that title, and then Rusev can get that title off of Penta, and then Sheamus can get the title off of Rusev at WrestleMania. I got a vision, I got a dream. It's not gonna happen, but we'll see. But that will be the first round, and see who wins there, and then we'll go on to the second round. Anyways, let's talk about Bronson Reed, because he was there on SmackDown. So Nick Aldis was backstage. I think he had just got done talking to somebody. I forgot who he was talking to. Maybe it was Dragunov, not even sure. And he was walking towards his office. And as he was there, in front of his office was Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman. right? And Paul Heyman had like a little contract folder signing thing, right? And Nick Aldis like, what are you guys doing here? What do you guys want? And he's like, Paul Heyman's like, I just want to remind you that I am here, that remind you that I am in charge of War Games and getting the team, and I can go to any 3 brands to look for a member to put on my War Games, right? Which is Raw, Smackdown, and NXT. And Nick Aldis is like, yeah, I know this. You know, you didn't need to come over here and say this to me. You could have emailed me, you could have texted me, whatever, blah, 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 you know, and everything else. But before, like, by this time, security had came up, right? Security had came up because Nick Aldis had called security, like, the moment that he saw fucking Bronson Reed. Like, okay, security, right? And they're now talking in the office. So then security comes up, Cody Rhodes comes in, and Cody Rhodes is like, what are you doing here, Paul? And Paul Heyman's like, you know what? Let's talk about you, Cody. Let's not talk about me. Let's talk about you, Cody. He's like, I would like to know, why were you involved in Vision's business, right? And Cody Rhodes says something like, you know, you put my friends through the fire, I'm going to go through the flames, or some shit like that. I'm just like, what the fuck are we? What am I watching right now? Like, what kind of fucking soap opera gossip bullshit is this? Anyways, like, who talks like that? Anyways, I don't know what happened, but it ended up with Bronson Reed getting in Cody Rhodes' face, and he's like, unless you're here for a fight, I think you guys should leave. And he's like, and Bronson Reed's something like, oh, I'm always ready for a fight, and everything like that. So then he's like, Cody Rhodes is like, well, Nick Aldis, book it, Reed versus Rhodes tonight. And then Paul Heyman's like, you can have this match and you're not gonna put the title up on the line, right? And Cody Rhodes is like, put the title up on the line, book it, don't care. I got nothing to lose, you know, like that. And Nick Aldis is like, are you sure? And he's like, yes. Why you always ask me? Yes, I'm sure. I'm a fucking babyface. That's what I do. Okay. Right. So then we had that match. That was the match for the main event. So let's just go to the main event. We had the match, and I my first initial thought before I saw Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed, and I'm just like, okay, they're obviously there for somebody for War Games. And I'm like, Drew McIntyre. Like, who else could it possibly be? Although there was a vignette that Aleister Black and his lovely wife Zelina Vega had made where they're talking about Damian Priest, but they're also talking about Cody Rhodes and how they want to take Cody Rhodes' title away from him. So yeah, I was like, maybe, but I'm like, it had to be Drew McIntyre, right? So it ended up being a no disqualification or no contest because Braun Breaker comes out and attacks Cody Rhodes. Oh, before that, I forgot. Before all that, we had Cody Rhodes backstage and he's warming up for his match, and Jey Uso comes out and says, hey, you know, I heard that you have a fight with Bronson Reed. Like, you know what? I got your back. If you need me, I got your back. Right? And then Jimmy Uso comes in and he's like telling us, you know what? I just talked to CM Punk. I'm part of War Games. So there we got the 4. More likely, Roman Reigns will be the 5th guy. I don't know how, because I could have been sworn that he told them that he didn't want to see the twins until Christmas time, and War Games and Survivor Series is in November, and there's no like PLEs in December. And the only thing they have is like John Cena's last match for a Saturday Night Main Event, and I don't think they should be on that show. So yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work, but alright, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyways, so yeah, so they're saying that stuff. So anyways, let's go back to the match. Like I said, it was interrupted by Braun Breaker and Logan Paul. They started attacking Cody and everything else. Here comes Here comes the Usos, Jay and Jimmy, and they start attacking Logan and what's his face, Braun Breaker, and stuff like that. So they're all fighting and everything else like this. Right? They one deed Logan Paul, and they got some tables, and they're gonna do the Uso smash on Logan Paul because they put him on the table. They're about to do a double Uso splash, but instead Drew McIntyre ends up, tossing Jimmy over to the side and everything else, and then Jay starts to attack Jimmy, but then he gets attacked from behind from Logan Paul and all this other stuff. And this is when Nick Aldis comes out and he's like, "What's going on? What's happening?" And Paul Heyman's like, "I can choose any guy from any planet and everything everywhere. Now he's suspended and everything else." Apparently, even if you're suspended, you could still fight in the War Games, because I don't know. I don't know how that I don't know how that works. It's like me grounding my kids and saying, "You can't watch TV in the living room, but you can watch it in the bedroom." I don't, what? Like, what? Okay, I don't know. They're gonna have to explain that one to me, but Cody Rhodes tries to get back and he ends up getting Claymored, and the heels stand tall, and there's one more guy, because they had mentioned that they need one more guy from both sides of the thing. So I don't know who they get for the heels. Now I can see Brock Lesnar being on there, because Brock Lesnar has some history with Cody, even though he has Cody's respect. So I don't know why all of a sudden he doesn't have respect from Cody anymore. There's Roman Reigns, and CM Punk might have an issue with fucking, I don't know. But it's like, I don't really get it. Like, why would you add him on there? I'm like, look, if you're gonna add Brock Lesnar into War Games, then it is only right to add John Cena in there, right? Like, how do you not add John Cena if you're not, Lesnar? I don't get it. I mean, I get it that he is Paul, he's friends with Paul, or whatever, his advocate, or whatever the fuck, stuff like that, and with Paul Heyman. But still, it's like, what? I'm like, are we doing the favorite thing? Like, didn't we do this last year? Like, I'm pretty sure we did the whole favorite thing last year. It's not, rinse and repeat the same shit that we already did. Like, no. So I'm just like, alright. And like I said, I go, I could put Aleister Black in there, because he has a problem with Cody as well, and stuff like that. But it's like, I don't know how, like, and then they put, and it's like, they could put in Damian Priest. Right? How do we know they're gonna put in Roman Reigns? They might not even put Roman Reigns in. I mean, it's like, it seems so obvious that they would put Roman Reigns in, but Roman Reigns did say that he don't want to see the fucking twins until fucking Christmas time. So there's this guy. If you put Aleister Black and you put Damian Priest in there, which is a possibility, I doubt that it's going to happen. At least you have, like, and like, I don't know, Damian Priest might have a problem with the vision. I don't know. It's possible. Who knows? But I mean, it's a long shot. It's a long shot. More likely it's going to be Roman Reigns. I don't really see it being nobody else but Roman Reigns. I don't see anybody else being other than Roman Reigns and Brock. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it's Brock Lesnar. I don't know who else could possibly be if it's not Brock Lesnar. Could be Aleister Black. I'm not 100% sure. But for the four that we know for sure is, on the heel side, we got Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre. And on the face side, we have Punk, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and Cody Rhodes. Oh, I don't know who you had. I don't know you had a Randy. I know you had a Roman. or John Cena. Don't know. I know you don't add LA Knight. He ain't gonna be in that shit. That's for sure. Anyways, that was That was Smackdown. It was an okay show. It's a better show than last week, that's for sure. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. I will see you guys in my next video. Okay, bye.